Hi, you guys. I got my t-shirt on. It's funny. This girl's wearing crazy clothes. She says, I love me. And I've got paint because it's kind of my painter's shirt. I don't paint art. I mean, when I would paint the house or something. Anyway, I'm going to do this video. Now I got a shadow of a mustache, huh? Hey, how do I look with a mustache? All right. That's not funny. I'm doing this video again, basically to share another video, and she said in the comments, and I've always admired her, I have shared a few or so of her shorts, I think, maybe not any of her other videos, but maybe I have, because they're good. Her name is Julia Shalom. That's it, yes. And then, so, this video, I'm going to call it my sordid past. And because she said that I should say, because I've intimated about my past, but I call it a bar. But I want to start this off by saying first, that's weird. I won't do that. I'm going to start this off by saying first, when I went to work in a bar, all of this that we women do and we girls do, the bar scene, whether we're fraternizing it or working in one or otherwise, like I will tell you and explain why I did it, sort of. I'm just going to basically tell you why it happens, and it's two different reasons. You could have had a normal child past childhood, or you could have had a bad one. Either way, if you had a normal, okay childhood, you may turn to that lifestyle because, like I've told you before in my other videos, I liked the Dolly Parton look, okay? At 18, I started dating. I dated late. And then I dated an Iranian. Strict. He wasn't a practicing Muslim. And I hadn't been taught about the Jews, so I never talked about the Jews. I never talked about Christianity because I fell away at 18. And then, because I explained that in other videos. So all my videos basically have a little bit, they have one subject kind of. Sometimes I'll repeat stuff. Or I will repeat Bible verses, certain ones, but usually each one has different information unless I've said on second thought or part 2 or whatever. So every video has, so anyway, this will be one of those where it's something I haven't talked about yet. And anyway, so this Iranian, which I've talked about for like 3.5 years, I think, till I was 21, 18 to 21. Well, we didn't talk about Jews or Christianity, and I don't even know if he would have been against them. I don't think he would have, because he was a very fun-loving guy. He was Americanized. He had been in the States since he had been 18, and I didn't mean to go into all this, and I was 18 and he was 27. So he was older, so I was used to dressing conservative, because I was just a kid and everything, and so dressing very conservative didn't bother me. I don't remember when I started liking this hooker look, but I did. But it was after him. Oh, I know why it was. It was because I started dating my first ex-husband. I broke up with him, and I explained that. And then I started dating, a white guy, American white guy. And then he got me into Hooters, okay? I didn't even know what Hooters was or what it was about. So then, okay, look. You've heard my testimony of my past, my childhood upbringing, my Christian background. I think the video is called My Christian History or something. So why did I say that? So my past. It was very tumultuous. But my mother was never verbally abusive. She never called us stupid. She never talked down to us. She wasn't really there for us, but she never abused us, and she never talked down to us. In fact, one time she said we were just Anyway, I already mentioned that in another video. So anyway, I'm not going to ever disparage my mother, but she, of course, wasn't the best. Maybe like Greg Laurie, if you know his testimony of his mother, she was kind of a mother like that. She looked kind of like Raquel Welch, her body, and then her face. I can't compare her to Marilyn Monroe, but Greg Laurie's mother looked like Marilyn Monroe for sure. But my mother looked like Raquel Welch, kind of in the face and her body. And she was just dingbat, la 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 stuff like myself. I say I'm an airhead. So she wasn't really there for us, but she wasn't like this, whatever, it's like some children. Okay, so I'm getting long and winded on this, but then there's children, okay, so that grow up with a bad life, that's abusive, maybe sexually abused, maybe verbally abused, talked down to, maybe physically abused, maybe just gaslighting, maybe whatever. Okay, so the two types, let's just generalize them there like that with two types. So my type was, I was kind of sheltered, we were poor, I was naive, but I went through this Dolly Parton like type dressing hooker, okay, and I liked it, and I didn't even think people would stare at me, I guess, but I really didn't think I was getting negative attention. Guys were looking at me. I thought that was kind of cool because I didn't get any attention from my mother. And when you don't get what you need from a mother and a father, which I didn't grow up with a father, you're gonna always be looking for it. Unknowingly, unconsciously. So then I eventually got into dancing. And no, I'm not talking about a ballerina or whatever, these break dancing and other kind of freestyle dancing. No. As in nude dancing. Okay, so it evolved into that. From Hooters to then being a waitress at a strip club and doing it. Okay, so that's my sordid past. And I did do it for those reasons. Oh, because like the going through the like hooker stage, I enjoyed those clothing. I how do you want to put it? I was always athletic, and I knew how my mother looked. My mother looked great, okay? Her last kid, I think she was 33, and then up into her 40s and her 50s, and I don't know, she always looked like a brick house. Big, brick shit house, like Raquel Welch. And before kids, 6 kids, she had an 18-inch waist. I've seen the pictures. Okay. So, she had a big upper. Okay. So, and just Raquel Welch, if you see those old pictures, teeny weeny waist. Women aren't like that anymore because of the hormones in the meat. So, that ruins your genetics, your DNA. So a lot of things ruin I don't know if it's your DNA, but it ruins your genetics. So if you eat junk food all the time and then you go and have a baby, you've killed some of your genetics that you're going to pass on. Anyway, but maybe not. My little brother was 6'4" at 16, and my little brother, half brother, they raised him on junk food. I am not kidding you. Pure junk food. He would scream if they gave him anything healthy. He ate hot dogs, soda pop, and candy. Okay? So food doesn't always equate. I mean, my dad is 6'1", and his mother, my stepmother, was normal size. Anyway, the kid is he was a pinstripe, and that was my dad's nickname in high school, was Pinstripe, because my dad was super skinny. So I got my dad's bird legs. Okay. And then my mother's. So everybody always thought I was fake. I'm not fake. It's called half and half. I mean, I don't have man's parts, okay? I used to say that all the time. I'd be like, I got my mother's upper half and my dad's lower half. And then over years of saying that, I realized they might think I have a ding-dong. And no, I don't have a ding-dong. So anyway, I have my dad's bird legs, stick legs, and I have my mother's this. So everybody's always like, oh, you're too skinny to have real. And boy, I tell you, in whatever year it was, 94, boob jobs got so popular. And it was maybe a few years after that, they started making, and the most popular size was my size. My size. That was the size everybody wanted, all these women wanted to be. So bras now, I was able to buy the pretty ones, because all my life I had to buy the granny bras. Because in my size, they didn't make pretty little nice ones. Well, anyway, so where was I? Oh my goodness. So yeah, then I go, why do you guys all think they're not real? And then they say, because you're too skinny to be that size. Okay. Anyway, enough of the personal stuff, but I'm wanting to talk why some girls want to do this. And that's my reason I did it, because I was athletic. I enjoyed the look of a hooker and the body. There was always a certain type of body I wanted. Oh, I wanted that body so badly. And I wasn't built that way. Like the bubble butt and the skinny little hips. I mean, my hips are all my life have been like 34, 35. I mean, I wear like a size 00, y'all. It's not like I have big hips, but I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe I thought I had big hips at the time. I don't know. I'm weird. Okay, sorry. Then anyway, okay, so for my reasons of wanting to do that kind of thing might have been different from other girls. But I'm wanting to just explain one thing here. When you hit puberty, yes, you're built to have your hormones flowing, because who's that? Childhood psychologist, Christian Spock, or maybe that's not it. Don't quote me on that. But this one is the Christian one. He's famous. And he says that what happens to teenagers is their brain chemistry is now transitioning into their own government. Meaning it's a new government, and it's part of growing up. They're trying to learn. I heard this from Sheila Walsh on Better Together on TBN. One of them brought him up. So anyway, or maybe it wasn't that show, but it was another one. So anyway, then your children are acting. So whether you're a bad upbringing or a good upbringing, and you choose to go this nasty, filthy way in the bar, well, you're naturally at these ages, you want to have sex because you're in the procreation age, right? Also that you're learning to govern. You're transitioning from an adolescent governance in the mind to an adult, and it's a parents are always talking about. So that's why I did it, because I wanted that Playboy body look. I wanted, and it wasn't like I was a slut. I was very conservative because I grew up Baptist, But I thought, I can do this. It's no harm. But then I got into it later in life, like at, say, 25. And then I stopped, and then for a little while, and then I did it again at like 27, and then a little bit, and then I stopped. I did it again at like 32 to 33, or 30 to 33, and then I did it again at 42 to like 44. Okay, so I was never really like that. There's a certain type of girl that you'll meet, not girl. There's certain kinds of dancers that have a certain mindset. And I can't describe it. I don't know what it is, but it's basically kind of, maybe Julia might one day go over that. But I wasn't that way. So I didn't really fit in there, but that's okay. I didn't fit in at church. I didn't fit in anywhere really, but it was money. And I wasn't that good at it. I couldn't dance to save my life. I just got up there on stage in 6-inch heels and walked around basically and swayed my hips and stuff. So I didn't know how to do any of this super cool stuff. And then when it came to the personal dances, I totally didn't know what I was doing at all. Okay, at all. But then there's girls. Okay, so what I want to boil this all down to is control. whatever in your life went wrong, which I had some things go wrong, but maybe I was too naive to know. Some people don't even know they're poor, but we knew we were poor and we knew we were having a bad upbringing. Some don't when their parents are nice and good. So we knew enough. So whether you've been wounded mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, or you've been withheld what you need, the love and attention and the care, it's always about control. You're gonna want to control your life because something was lacking, okay? And if you're not from a bad situation in your past, you just want it to be a girl and sow your wild oats, or whatever girls do that want to be crazy like that. So, but I'm just saying, in my case and others, it boils down to control. It boils down to pride. The pride of life, the lust of the eyes, that verse. The lust of the eyes, the pride of life, and the something. And control. If you had no control as a child, maybe you were micromanaged. Maybe they were really strict and they weren't loving. Maybe they were, it wasn't good balance. Maybe you weren't, whatever the point is, the reasons we do these things is out of control. We want to control it, and then under control there, under that umbrella, you've got unforgiveness, you've got bitterness, you have vengeance, you want to get somebody back, you want to prove something, you want to control something. You are angry and bitter and unforgiving. Bobs, I'm right here, babe. All right. Since I shaved him, he can't seem to walk. Meaning, I shaved him and his hair, I think, is poking him in it. Anyway, so it's all boils. This is what I want to mainly say: is it all boils down to control and pride. And okay, the control under that umbrella, you can fill in more blanks. Under control can be stemmed from you have anger, rage, malice, bitterness. And the Bible talks, there's a verse about a root of bitterness. Okay. And then it also talks about unforgiveness and slander and all these other things I've been saying. So it all stems from control. There was lack of control in your life because you had this upbringing. And then so now you want to, like anorexics, they say, or like that. They needed to control something, so they controlled their food. Well, then, so under that umbrella of control is there. Then you have the natural, see, control was out of your control to become controlling. That was, you were a product of your environment and a product of your upbringing. But then there's the human aspect gets twined in there with that. And I've talked about character and personality, and they're two different things. Okay, in another video. So when you let that intertwine with the human nature of pride, it's a bad combination. So then you've got pride. Under that, you've got ego. That's where you can be offended. You can be hurt. You can then get the more feelings from the control umbrella, which is you get angry because you're offended. And then you were offended under the control umbrella. You were offended physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all that. So it's all stemming from that, you guys. So girls, women that have come out of this and there might be scarred from it, you have to forgive yourself and delve deep and realize why you did it. And anybody in your shoes would have done the same thing. I mean, that's how I feel when that Bible verse says, why do you judge when you do the same thing? And I say to myself, Lord, I'm judging wickedness. I'm judging he is a narcissist. I'm not a narcissist. Why are you saying I do the same thing? And I know, well, let me say, I think I know that Jesus explained that to me. He said, this is why I've said before, God takes in innumerable variables. And to me, that verse, he was telling me it means that if you were them, with the personality I gave them, with the upbringing I put them into, the parents, in the atmosphere, in the environment, with the same tests and trials, with the same strengths and weaknesses, with the same inherited personalities, strengths and weaknesses from your mom and from your dad. So you're half and half now. You're half mom, half dad. Some are even more so the mom or more so the dad, or maybe you got the worst of both of them. So you got a good side and a bad side, weakness, strength. Maybe you got inherited your dad's weaknesses and your mom's weaknesses, and neither one of their strengths. Wouldn't that be hell? Not really. I'm not saying that. I recant that. I'm just saying, God told me, I feel that he said, if you were them, the way I made them, with all those innumerable variables he's taken into account, where, oh, this test they'll fail, and they're never going to accept me if they, So some people have it harder, to where it's harder for them to accept Christ because of innumerable variables. So he's telling me, he was like saying, don't judge in that way. But, okay, so I forgot why I was saying that. But, I'm saying you need to figure out why you're, now a godly sorrow is fine. Like, I will forever regret abortions. I will always forever, some of this guilt, that it might be called guilt and shame, but it's not the shame, it's not the same kind of shame. This is more like, I'm ashamed that I thought it was okay to kill 5 of my babies or more if some were twins. I mean, I don't know. So I'm gonna forever be ashamed of that, but I don't carry the shame. Okay. Now, if you guys are carrying any shame, you've got to figure out, you got to start dissecting your soul and spirit. You've got wounds, and you got to do it with Jesus. Okay. You can't do it alone, and don't go to, I used to do all the self-help books, y'all. Nothing ever helped me. Nothing ever set me free. I've told you in other videos, I was on 8 different medications for anxiety. Because once they can't fix the anxiety, they start stacking up antidepressants. And okay, so, and nothing touched it. Nothing touched it. It was all about transforming my mind when I finally hit rock bottom. So that's what rock bottom is for. It's called humility. Humility. God says, become as a little child. Children aren't proud in the aspect of pride. They have pride, but it's a different kind of pride. It's a pride like when a parent is unfairly, unjustly treating them, it wounds their pride, the good pride. Okay, let's use discernment here. It's my favorite saying here. Don't be getting it all twisted. So, yeah, when, I don't know what I was, you have to be a little child. Little children are humble. They'll believe all things. Love believes all things. All things that God tells them. A little child believes, and such is the kingdom of God, is a little child. You have to think before you are wounded. So, or if you don't even know, okay, so you need to be set free, and self-help books won't do it. Only the transforming of your mind, and you have to hit rock bottom enough to where the pride of life and the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life, and you've humbled yourself like a child. You haven't been a child in a long, long time. You don't know what that is anymore. So, but as an adult, God teaches us what the humility is by allowing us to fall down into the pit to where it's rock bottom, to where we can now again remember what humility is. And that's the only way you're going to be able to get in with God. He doesn't like pride. He stands so far off from the proud. Even after you're saved and Jesus is the Lord of your life, you continually have to fight against the pride, because he stands far off from the proud. Your prayers can be hindered if you're a husband. All kinds of crap. It's just a constant battle, examining yourself, judging yourself. Okay, so this is and I'll share her video, and in that video, she'll tell you where to go to hear the longer version. And, okay, I hope this helped you guys. I heard it last night at wee hours in the morning, and I was like, I went and smacked some makeup on my face. I'm like, I'm going to do a video. because she's done a face video before where she does her process of whatever it's called, and we're both estheticians as well. And so I'm like, I know some things you don't know. I'm gonna do a video, and I never did. But last night I was like, I'm gonna do a video on my past, my sordid past. And I put makeup on to be like, okay, this is what I look like with makeup. I don't look that horrible. But with makeup, I clean up good, right? And then I'm like, nah, I got tired. But then her comment, she's like, you ought to do it. So I'm doing it. That's my sordid past. And I'm just exhorting young women, young girls, it's not worth it. And yeah, when I made this certain comment, I was like, and I would try to get normal jobs and no one would hire me. So you know what? I used to be angry in my mind. And I'm like, you know what? You don't want to hire me? You'll hire everybody else. Back then, I was too overqualified or I was not qualified. There's always some excuse. This is old days. So back then, how they did it. Then, so you know what I would say to myself? I'm like, oh yeah, you don't want to hire me? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm saying this to myself. I'm being a freaking bitch because I feel like everybody's treating me unfairly. So I'm like, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get your money one way or another. I don't ever say this to them, but she was having a sassy attitude in her video. And if you don't know her, she doesn't talk like this, but she seemed sassy to me. So it reminded me of myself back when I'm like, you don't want to hire me and I can't make any money the honest way. I'll get your money. I'm going to get it from your sons. I'm going to get it from your husbands. I'm going to get it from, you would have been better off hiring me. Not that I lived in some small town and that was going to happen. But that's how, out of the line of God, out of the will of God, and then it's brought in other seeds, more worse than the first, because I started out with a good attitude about it, but then when I would bump in and out of it, because I couldn't find a regular job, I would be like, yeah, oh yeah, you don't want me to make an honest pay? Do you know where I've been? I've been a dancer. Your son's friends, your husband's friends. If it were the case, but it wasn't. I'm just saying in my mind, that's what I wanted. I wanted vengeance. I'm like, I'm trying to make honest money here and you're not helping. So I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go get money. I'm going to go get money from men that you think are what do you call it? Faithful to you. No, they're not faithful to you. They're not. They're coming to look at me. And if you don't want them to look at me, you need to give me a job. But that's what I was thinking. I never said that. But I was angry. Okay? So that's this attitude thing. If you see that video and you see my comment, I just was telling her, I'm saying, hey, I know how you feel, sister. It's anger. I was angry and this is what, Anyway, okay, God bless you guys. Love you. And I hope this helps to set anybody free or to encourage you to, because once you get in it, you're only hurting yourself. And you're going to realize that. And some days you might want to get out, but you can't. Because who knows what goes on these days with trafficking. Okay, God bless you guys. Love you and bye.